Good evening, gents. How's it going today?
Wonderful.
Phil,
Very
how are
good.
you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good.
So, first things first, I'm not going to sing to you, but happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
So, as everybody's been making fun of me on the live, so I'll just admit it, I've been under the weather. So, I'm on quite the regimen of drugs at the moment. So, I feel pretty good, but I was a game time decision. So, Phil, on his birthday, was willing to fill in.
Uh,
Chris says
You
I
want me
still
to do-
sound sick. That's because I still am sick. I've just taken a lot of prednisone in the last day and a half, and I feel fantastic. So, all legally prescribed by my doctor for the haters out there.
There you go.
We got the prescription, but that's not why we're here. The member manual gets updated and is updated and live today. So we got some fun things. Thursday night, 9 topics. I believe 8 of them are about the member manual. I should remember. But
you wrote it.
like I said,
Because
I'm
you
on
wrote the agenda.
I wrote it, but I'm on a great regimen of drugs right now. So I am going to be using notes tonight to go through some of this and using your guys' beautiful minds to go through that. But guess as we get started, Chris is handing up the notes. He's like, stay on script. What are you most looking forward to in 2025, Phil?
Sleep.
Yeah, right?
I mean, just getting things scheduled out, well planned, so I know exactly what we're doing, week to week and stuff like that. And very excited to be bringing on some new chapters this year. We got some changes, so we got a lot of training going on with some new chapters and stuff like that. So just happy to get those things off the board, filling in some gaps in the country where we want more players to play. So those are the big things. Again, getting these new chapters up and running and showing more people around the country, what the APT can do for them.
Yeah, we keep talking about culture a lot. And as Phil knows, I've been down and out for a couple of days, so I haven't been responding to emails. I haven't been really checking my computer much. I'm texting Phil like 4 or 5 times a day, just making sure things that can't get dropped don't. And I start going through my email today, really last night about 3 a.m, because when you're on steroids, you don't sleep very well. So I'm like, that was a great time to answer some emails. And the thing that was awesome was I had like 9 emails from people around the country that had played with people affected by Hurricane Helene, either in the upstate or in Augusta. And there's like, hey, I don't have this guy's number. Have you heard from him? Do you know if he's okay? So I'm like going through and I'm like checking out their profile. I'm like, well, he registered for a tournament yesterday, so I'm pretty sure he's fine. But it's just really cool to see just that interaction and that culture is really, really cool. So we have special guests. Speaking of culture, he is way overdressed for the occasion, but it's very rare you get all 4 of us in a single sitting. So it's just his excellency himself.
I look better than Matt feels.
It's not a high bar.
Oh,
This is
Yeah.
just to prove that I do actually have a day job.
There you go.
and you approve this message.
That's right.
Hey, it's good to remind people about your day job every once in a while, Jody.
Right? Just know that I have it in me and I can use it when I need to.
So, anyways, oh goodness. Well, we'll jump right into it. I will let everybody know towards the end of October, we are going to have a Thursday night 9, probably a Wednesday night 9, a Tuesday night 9, leading up to November 1st, maybe a Monday night 9 too. So if you guys were around in the beginning, back in 2020 when we had announcing a bunch of new chapters every night, it's going to happen again. So we're going to have some fun. So get familiar with the old red solo cups, the old drinking games. Be absolutely excited because it's coming back to end year 4.
Perfect time to crank up the old engine, right?
Yep.
Get the band back
That'll be
together
fun.
again.
The band is getting back together again. So, Jody, you're going to have to be free for all of those. And I think the November 1st one, since we'll be at the Folds of Honor Friday 4 ball at Dancing Rabbit, we should probably do
I
that.
plan on being there.
We probably should do that live Greystone style.
That would be fun. Come on down. You're the next contestant on Who Wants to Be a Chapter Owner.
That'll be fun. So I think that's a fitting way to close out year 4.
That was back when we were doing it Oprah style. You get a chapter and you get a chapter.
Yeah, it's not that easy anymore. We've learned a few things since then.
That's right.
But some of those we probably shouldn't share in the live. So
well,
APC After Dark.
I'm not supposed to eat my dinner on live either, but I am.
It's totally good. But anyways, first segment is Dancing Rabbit. So major season kicks off November 1st through the 3rd. Phil, why don't you talk about it for a little bit?
Oh, I was like, the one I need to talk about is actually eating his dinner. I like I say, I haven't been there yet. I'm looking at trying to get my way down there. I played it not with the APT, but I did play it a number of years ago. To tell you, I can't remember anything about it. I know they have a casino. How did you know?
They have a casino. So I'll give you the gist of it. The big thing, great value, $299 for a major, stupid. For the golf courses you get.
Yeah.
From a value tournament, it's the best value that we offer. So you don't want to miss it. 2 shotguns. We know it's college football season. So you can get back to the casino, the sports book by the time the 3:30 games start every day. So there's a sports book there, all kinds of fun. We have gotten killer hotel deals. You do not have to stay on property. But if you are planning on staying on property, you need to book with us and you need to book before October 9th because that's when our rate goes back to the rack rate. Online, Phil said the rooms were going for what, $385 one of the tournament nights? We have $99 for the Dancing Rabbit Inn, which is out of the casino. It's by the golf course. And then the Golden Moon Casino, we have $89. So you have to call in to get it. All the information is on the TIP page. You call 1-866-44-PEARL. And you use the code S10APT4. It's all on the page. You can go see it on the tournament. But you have to do it by October 9th or it goes to the rack rate. So book your room early. It's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah, and the golf courses, I know Phil was saying that I need to be talking about the golf courses. It's so Philadelphia, Choctaw, Mississippi, it's an Indian reservation, Indian casino. And normally in Mississippi, you think casinos, you think you're going to be on the water somewhere, but that's not the case here. We're on an Indian reservation southeast of Jackson, Mississippi. It's in the Pine Belt, so it's rolling hills covered with pine trees, and so it really gives you a feel like Augustus in some ways. You got a lot of elevation changes up and down hills, big greens, big white bunkers too. And 2 golf courses that, like a lot of these resorts that have multiple golf courses, there you have the ability to kind of argue with your buddies as to which one's better than the other. Beauty's always in the eye of the beholder. For years, the Azaleas course tended to get more of the accolades and rank a little bit higher, but that's changed over the years. The Oaks course has really come into its own, and they just play differently. A little bit different grasses too, and so that changes the feel of things. But really, really fun playing through the pine trees with big open corridors. It's resort golf, so you have plenty of room to hit off the tee. You're not going to lose very many golf balls, but you're going to end up with approach shots in the big greens with lots of compartmentalization, interior contours and different tiers on the greens, things like that. So it's a lot of fun, but it's not going to beat you up. So you're still going to have enough time and energy to go out and get over to the steakhouse, spend some time at the casino with Fegley, betting on the horses, doing whatever you're going to do. And so, we'll have a great time. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely going to be fun. 2 shotguns. It's a great way to start the year. They call it the Augusta You Can Play. Reason being is they have the big – I love about it. It's the big wide sand bunkers that frame every hole.
Yep.
It's just it's a very simplistic but really good design. It's really fun to play.
Looks like a Fazio, but they're not Fazios.
Right. That's fair. That's a good way to put it.
Yep.
So, cool. Well, there's the one that's not about the member manual. So we're going to jump into the member manual hole 2. This goes to Phil. That's the guest policy. So 3 minutes for the guest policy. Let's go.
Okay. So big thing for the guest policy this year, we're being consistent across the country. All chapters will be running the same type of guest policy. If you are a guest, again, you are going to be limited to a second place finish at the best. If you're verifiable via USGA handicap, or hand out or work through the handicap questionnaire through the competition committee, you will be eligible to win prizes, but no more than second place. Again, first place or any money as you go first goes to the membership for 2025. Guests will not be awarded any points this year, even if they join after the tournament. So if you want points for player of the year, if you think you're about joining, you want to do that before the tournament. Okay. Because no guest will get any points for the tournament at all. Members are probably going to say, am I going to get points if they do? Like, do I get to move up? And the answer to that is no. You get
Only
the
in
points where
first
you
place.
finish. Yeah. Only first place. Yes.
Only first place will move.
Yeah.
And the only thing there too, Phil, because I gotta speak it up for the D1 guys, because Fegley's still like D2.1, kind of, unless he moves himself, which would be admirable, but I won't tease him into that. In D1, if you're a guest, you can win first place, but it is tournament credit, and first part goes towards the member. And the reason for it is obviously we want to protect the members that are playing every week. Everybody hates the guy that comes in, and we have it every year in St. Louis. And I know you guys have seen it in Charlotte, Phil, and across the country. You get a nice course. Somebody wants to come in. They're like, yeah, I'm a D2 player. And, you go pull their gin the week before the tournament, and they're like 1.5. And you're like, and then you move them to D1 and they get mad. So the point is, we're a members club. We're for the people that are investing and playing every week and being part of our culture. And part of that is protecting you guys from people that are trying to come in and cheat the system. And so there it is.
And then Rocky's got a question there on the qualification. So all the first place stuff moves up to that member. So that's what that is.
Yeah,
Basically.
just goes up to the first. So if the guest comes in and wins,
Yep.
you can get second place. You just can't get first. The guy in second is going to be the winner, get the trophy and the money. And then the guest will get second place money.
Those of you that have traveled, this is basically known as the Nashville rule. So
There you go.
We're adopting it everywhere.
And obviously still the out of flight things that for unvalidated people still apply to guests. But assuming they shoot around within like where they're supposed to shoot, they can win up second place money.
There you go.
So
that one's simple.
4-ball tournaments would be different. Obviously, they're playing with the member. It would depend. Check your TIP page. So,
But
Alderucci's giving you a hard time.
I know.
Key there, don't bring a ringer in.
Alderucci's giving me a hard time. I'm like, dude, at least let me try to register for a tournament before we figure out.
It's really simple. Like, don't try to cheat. That's simple.
Yeah.
Our policies are there to catch people trying to cheat. So all the fun. Hole 3, Jody's favorite, the flight lock.
Yeah.
Or
Huge fan.
Let's rename it differently. Let's get it out there.
Yeah, well, there's 2 pieces of it now. There's one rebranded, and then there's now a flight lock. So there's a 2% flight protection. It's not a lot, because you break the protection, you still get promoted.
So many bad jokes to be had, but anyhow, yeah.
I'm glad you said it, not me. It's never good when you break the protection.
And don't
No.
worry, Timmy Hill. No Branson this year, but it will be back on the schedule soon. They like us down there.
Yeah, so I don't know. You want me to take this one? You want to do this one? What are we
You
gonna
can go for it.
All right, sweet. So those of you that know, we had what we were calling the flight protection. We've now rebranded it because we realized that when you use the term lock, some folks are getting
They just see flight lock and then they don't read what the rule actually says.
right. But again, hey, with branding and names, you also have some some issues there. So basically, the 2%, we're calling it the 2% flight protection, the same as it was last year. So that is the core of it, right? That's starting July 9th or July 8th this year, after our after the July events. So that's staying the same. Next thing is, so what we're going to do, we're calling it is a true flight lock for what we're calling them is highly validated players.
Highly validated players.
Yes. With 14 rounds or more
Within the season.
If you hit your local finals, you're good. You can, your index moves, 0.7 of a point, 0.8 of a point. It goes well through the flight protection. You're still going to be protected going to the national championship.
Yeah. If you've played 14 rounds on our tour throughout the season and you get to your local finals, that's the division you're going to the North American Championship in, regardless of what you do.
Right. So again, and Wayno, there you go. So that's the thing. Now the key is what we want to make sure that folks do is that it's only for your local finals. So if you play really well and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, I want to go chase some points somewhere or something like that, it's like, no.
Don't do it.
You get your opportunity to play out your local finals. Whatever happens, after your local finals, you're protected to the national championship, to the North American Championship only. So that's that. That's the simple change there. So we didn't
And
go
by the way,
full on that, but we did make a slight adjustment.
I'm just going to say player feedback. Thank you.
Can we call it the O brother validation for the O brother players? They're bona fide. What are you?
So there you go. Not even sure how to cover that, but it's a good thing. It's one of those deals. We want to reward people. Obviously, you get to your local finals and you're playing. Now, if you're picking and choosing, playing 3 different tours and only playing, 7 events with us, and playing in a much lower flight on a different tour, trying to flight lock yourself, well, it's not going to happen. So
all the general rules that apply in the past. So, but again, we're at least going to protect after your local.
I love all the people that came to us about getting the rule changed after it affected them this year are happy right now in the chat.
Yes. Well, they're like, hey, as we had our conversations, they're like, hey, I lived through that and it really sucked. Can we make sure nobody else does? So
No, absolutely, which we appreciate. Well,
Yep.
We're to the first break on time. Look at that. Keeping things moving. First break, just want to say this about culture of our members. Our tour has donated $185,000 over the last 2.5 seasons to Folds of Honor. So check out this message from our friends.
Are desperate for common ground, searching for evidence that our name, the United States, still holds true. The answer comes when we see a soldier in uniform, a first responder risking their life to protect others. On this, we agree. Those who protect our freedom and families deserve our unwavering support. We give it through Folds of Honor. When U.S. service members and first responders are disabled or killed, the Folds of Honor provides their family with life-changing scholarships. The recipients are as diverse as the country we call home. Their common bond, sacrifice. We the people have found what unites us. Join us.
Love it. Where'd Jody go? Jody's hiding. He probably thought we were putting the other Folds of Honor video that was like 4 minutes long. So we'll get him back on in a second. There he is.
I'm back.
He had to get the suit jacket
Get it
on. Now we're
changed.
like evening Jody. So
This is going to be like the Mr. Rogers episode.
absolutely. I don't even know what to go with that. Hole 4, Fegley. Let's you and Phil talk this through. I know this was highly debated. And it's going to be funny when we go through some of this with the some of these guys and the championship points, because we did study it. But points changes for 2025. I think there's some interesting things here. So this is a par 5, as you would say. So go ahead, Fegley, and start explaining it.
All righty. So let's not worry about last year. Let's just worry about what we're doing this year. So if and when a player is promoted, 100% of their points will move up to the new division. There's no like you can only move to third place or whatever. You take whatever you earned in that lower division, you move up. The big change, if you relegate down, so you're playing in D3 and you move down to D4, you don't take any points with you down. Now, people will be like, whoa, wait. But that's the genesis. No points going down. But say you started in D4, played 6 events, went up to D3, played 6 events, moved back down to D4. Those points from the 6 events you played will be waiting for you to accrue again, but you won't get to take anything down from the higher divisions. Those of you in certain chapters, you probably noticed that as we had players moving between divisions towards the end of the year, points races were getting skewed and impacted. So we went through the process, worked with the vendor to make sure that we can have what we're calling a copy feature where points go up and stay up, but then they do not come down. But whatever you've earned in that lower division does stay and accrue. So hopefully I've done a reasonably good job of explaining that. So, Bill?
I think so.
Yeah, no, that answers. I mean, Chuck Nimmo had the question earlier in the chat, and I think you explained it there, and I think his response. So I think he understands it.
Okay.
So,
I mean, that's a simple one. Now the ratings and the pulse, the points multiplier and all that stuff for each division, that's going to stay in place as we've had in previous years. It's just that the way that the points work, again, it's another one of those things that we want to make sure that you can still win Player of the Year by going up and coming back down. You just are only going to get credit for whatever you earned in that particular division. If you come
Correct. The other thing I want to point out, and this is for Alderucci, just because. So I just want to give a little bit of facts, just looking it up.
Oh.
So the senior net champion in Nashville's local finals won 128 points for Nashville, which, by the way, the senior net local champion for Nashville, raise your hand because he's on the live. And the senior net champion for the senior North American championship with 240 players in the field won 188 points. So 1.3 for beating everybody. So I would beg to differ that the season didn't matter. And we actually went through that and reviewed it. And happy to talk about it with anybody that wants to go through and looking at the ratios of points for the Nationals. It's kind of interesting because I think this is important without giving away all of our secrets to how we award points. So they'll be copied. But one of the things that happens on the curve that we're using with the math that we're using is as the field size gets bigger, instead of the winner's share continuing to get bigger like it would at smaller numbers, it actually gets smaller. So second place is worth a bunch of points. Third place is worth a bunch of points. Fourth place is worth a bunch of points, and so forth. So if you're leading going into those final tournaments in a big field of 120, like D2 or D3 at the North American, or 240 with the senior net, the fifth place finish is going to be really, really solid. And if somebody's trailing you, that nobody's going to make up a ton of ground. Now, if you finish, 130th and essentially miss the cut and get participation points, then the guy that wins is going to hurt you a lot. But if you're in the top 10, it's going to be really hard for somebody to overtake you that's not in a really good position coming in. So,
So there's that.
I saw Chris, show the comment on the. Let's see it.
Yeah, I hit that one up. So,
Gotcha. Begley, you want to?
well, this is the old. It depends. So, part of it is if you participated in that previous division, you'll get whatever you accrued in that division.
Right.
One of the things that we saw from this past year that was impacting the Player of the Year races was players were accruing those points in that higher division and then coming back down and making a negative impact to those Player of the Year races. So it's about protecting that long-term standing or long-term accumulation. Whereas, if you are relegating and you do qualify for relegation, you're going to be in a situation where you're probably going to be one of the better players. So you'll have the opportunity, depending on when that occurs, to catch up, play well in your events and move up or move up in the standings, I guess.
Yeah, and just logically, if your Player of the Year points total that puts you in the rankings consists of 8 finishes in one division and 2 finishes in the current division that you're in, you're not Player of the Year in that division. And you shouldn't be considered Player of the Year in that division. So we're trying to make a rules change here that makes it fair for the ones that are playing consistently within a division throughout the course of the year, so that we know that when we crown a Player of the Year at our North American Championship, that is someone that has actually truly earned that title in that division.
Yeah. So you can't play in D1, get a bunch of points, let your handicap get to 3.8, get relegated, and take all the point. You haven't played against anybody in D2 all year. So it's one of those things. And to be honest, it's a deterrent by design. And so when what we found over 4 years is every policy we have is going to benefit somebody, and it potentially can be a challenge for somebody. And the people that want to play the handicap game and bounce around are not the people that are writing rules to help. I'm just going to say it. Like, I love Stevie Frank's comment. She struggled like crazy when she got promoted to D4, got all the way up to a 20, and has worked her way all the way back to a 17. Well, sometimes it's not pleasant, but, the goal is, so we want to reward the people that are following kind of the process of what we want to see happen, which is, we're all in this to get better as players and compete in a division of competition that's fair. And so it's a rule that for the guys that's slumping in a division that wants to go back for a few tournaments and beat the crap out of somebody, there's not going to be a lot of incentive to do that.
And it's also to balance it, right? Like, again, there are players that we know that do bounce between, right? So,
right.
It gives you the opportunity to go between the two divisions, earn the points where they're earned, and then, let the numbers pan it out.
Yeah. But the nice thing is when you get moved up, you're still getting rewarded because we've set the difficulty multiplier in place that essentially what it does, and did very accurately this year from all the data we tested after the fact, Begley, is it really puts you into the spot that you would have played if you're playing the division all along. So you're able to keep your points and compete, but you're not going to get the variables that we were seeing before.
Yep.
The next one, moving on. Joe keeps going. Keep talking. We'll get there, Joe.
We'll get there, Joe.
There. I'm following the script.
It's like he knows our agenda already.
No.
So, goodness gracious.
Hole 5, ladies tees.
Ladies tees. This is a fun one. So, there's a few ladies on. This might freak out, but we're going to talk about it, and it's going to get better.
Joe says he needs to go to bed. No, you don't. You don't have any work to do. Y'all are all sitting around looking at each other and drinking beer, not actually moving the stuff around the country. Come on, man.
It's 8:30.
Man.
Anyway, all right. Fifth hole, ladies' tees.
Fifth hole. So ladies' tees. So like we did for the senior tees this year, when we posted every round from the open tee rating, and it worked to balance competition really well, we're going to do the exact same thing with the ladies' tees. So all scores shot on the APT are going to be judged equitably based on the score. So a 75, regardless if it's open tee, senior tee, or ladies' tee, is going to affect your handicap exactly the same going forward. So nobody's going to shoot an 87 and get moved where somebody else can shoot an 87 and not get moved. It's all going to be equal. So we're making the changes to make our handicap system equitable regardless of what tees you play. So while a couple of ladies might be freaking out thinking about that, there's a couple reasons for this. And one of them has to do with, I know Jamie Costanzo approached both you and I, Phil, last year from Myrtle Beach. We love Jamie. Great lady, doing some awesome stuff for the LPGA down there right now. She pointed out that on the USGA slope and ratings tees, only about half of the states actually have ladies rating their golf courses for slope and rating, and the other are done by men who obviously don't face the same challenges. So there's a very big problem that the USGA doesn't want to talk about in the equitable of rating a golf course. And we see it in our handicap system with our ladies all the time. And it's because you can go to one golf course, that's a very similar setup, similar yardage, and state to state, it'll be a 69.1, 114 in St. Louis, and it's a 71.3, 125 in the Triad. And you're going, what in the world is wrong with this? And so, and what all our ladies tell us when they give us feedback is it's more about yardage, right? A par 4 that's over 350 is unbearable. You know what I mean? And so you have to figure that out. But by getting the rating and slope to be consistent with obviously the men that they're playing against gives us then the flexibility to make sure we get the yardages right, which is going to balance. So there's a give and take here, but I think it's a give and take that makes our handicap system more fair, which makes our division placement more fair, but it's also going to be more enjoyable for the ladies that are playing because we can focus on getting things set up to proper yardages, just like we are with our open tee and our senior tee.
Yeah, I think that's a good, as we've talked about when we were implementing this, we're looking at things. Again, we're not just going to throw out the rating system, right? Like it's there for a reason. There is data behind it. But at the same point in time, it will give us, the opportunity in situations where we know golf courses, we know situations that we've faced in the past in tee setup. We'll just make the adjustment and then move forward with how the rating and how the scores will get played out. So,
So, and Danny House, stay tuned. You're on hole 7. We're still finishing up hole 5. So we will get to senior tees. I promise we will get to senior tees and what's in the manual. But if you want to skip ahead, the manual is posted online at aptgolf.org/member manual. And if Brian Greger's watching and wants a catalog of what we actually changed, I have one of those available by request too. So we made an outline.
Boy.
Oh yeah. Just because I knew he was going to ask me. Anyways, hole 5, because there's no credit on there, we'll go to hole 6, and that's tee assignments, just overall tee assignments. Some of you may remember it's kind of the middle of last year. We sent a poll out, mainly because we were debating in the handicap committee what people thought about the yardages on our tour that people were playing. And so we sent a poll out. And the poll results we get back to is really interesting. 10% of our tour thought we were playing it too short. 50% roughly thought it was just right. And 40% thought it was too long. It was kind of the thought process. So we kind of talked through that a little bit, just taking feedback from the players. So our quote unquote suggested yardages, we took down 100 yards. So 100 yards shorter across the board. Now, keep in mind, if you play in Utah, you're going to probably play the top end of those yardage because y'all are at elevation. And if you're in Myrtle Beach, you're going to probably play the short end of those yardages because you're at the beach where it's wet and you're sea level. You know what I mean? And if you're in Nashville, you're somewhere in the middle to the top end, just like St. Louis, depending on the season and how hard the ground is. So obviously there's a range in there for a reason because we understand that playing golf in Arizona is different than playing golf at the beach. But overall, bring it in. We're shortening everything up just a little bit just to help you guys out. So Chris Miner, I haven't seen his amen on that yet.
Not enough. Not enough.
Too long. It's too long.
Yeah. Stevie Frank, I love you dearly, but we did send it out in 3 different emails. So, but
it's a half endorsement. That's great.
I appreciate that. Anyways,
7,000 yards for everybody. Let's go.
there we go.
Of course, Brian will say that. It's in a long way.
I just think it's important to talk about that before we get to the next one. So, but before we do, we have a message from our friend, the most important man in golf below the waist, Mr. Jack Hurry.
Two under. Quality fabrics. No roll waistband. Joey pouch. Elevate and separate. No chafing. What more could you ask for?
And we're back. Ricky Fowler on the treadmill. So I literally am going to go back through these comments and I'm going to show them where they opened the email. And some of the people responded to the poll because I remember because I saw the name of who everybody said what. They're like, I didn't get a poll. And I'm like, you voted. Y'all voted. It's all good.
Pretty funny.
So
We
anyways,
track our votes.
I know Jersey's been working hard all week to send out a boatload of 2 under to you guys that won the 2 under challenge. So if that's your first pair or your 50th, like Jody and me, I hope you enjoy them. And now you'll know what we're talking about. Anyways, this is the fun one. So handicaps are
Bye, guys.
leave it to the politician to leave when we start talking about something substantive. It's so funny. So, senior tees, Fegley, hole 7. This might be a par 7. It's like we're like at Meadowlands at the beach right now. We're going to start in South Carolina and we're going to work our way to North Carolina with this one.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, wherever the world.
There's been a few changes.
Just a few.
Just a few. We're just clarifying what our positions are and happy to explain why to everybody.
Oof. All
I'll
right,
let you start, or I can start because then the substantive point would be you.
let's go.
There we go. So the first part's easy. Senior T or senior men age 16 over are generally eligible to play from the 60-plus yardage, but for APT tournament index purposes, their scores will be posted from the corresponding Open Division T, which we understand gives you a yardage advantage. And for the tour, it's handicap equity, but if you're playing the senior T, it's a handicap disadvantage. So if you're a 13.5 on your gen and you're playing the senior T on our tour, those same scores would make you like a 12.3 ish. Very close. Within less margin in error than what they're doing in the polling across the country right now. Put it that way. Fegley, you and your research, you missed a calling to make a boatload of money.
Oh, jeez.
But that being said, so understanding that, we're putting some parameters around it to keep our competitions fair. So Fegley, for it.
All right. So we have the following points of clarification. This is always the great one that when it revolves around golfers and golfing. It is the player's responsibility to know their classification. Misrepresenting your yardage classification may result in penalties that may include upwards of disqualification. And one of the nice things, though, to help us all out, including yourself, for reference, the 60 plus T option is now public in your player profile. So it will say,
Name club 60 plus T option.
yes. Now we're going through that and cleaning it up. It's going to take some time, but just look for it there.
Correct. And your chapter owner will also be able to see it when they run their T checks and print your scorecards and all of that good stuff. So we are keeping tabs. So if you're out there and watching thinking that, hey, I'm going to go to another chapter and not let them know, we are tracking in the system and all of us see it. Don't be that guy.
Yeah, just
Number one rule.
and we haven't really had much of an issue with it. There has been, as new people come on board, there's always
We
clarification.
won't say the name of the person that
Well,
created the rule.
yeah, it's
Not for
always,
this one.
There's always situations, right? And we just wanted to
Always
make
was.
sure it was clarified and clear. So if and when events and issues come up, we're good. All right.
So leading it into it is you can't skip around
Yeah, that's second.
between senior tees and open tees. See, I'm covering one for you. I'm taking
Yeah,
one
there
for
we
the
go.
team. And that's in a tournament. That's like within the golf course. Like, I'll just play the open tees. You can't do that. You're choosing. This is the competing spot. And my handicap's being established from this place based on these parameters. And I'm playing this tee until, I request to not play it anymore, or I get told I get promoted, or all of that. So once you're there until you can request to go back, and you can then, if you go back, you can request to go forward, but there's all that process now. So likely number 3.
Yep. All right. So next thing that we have for new members, your initial handicap review, depending on where the new members index lies on the spectrum, if it's within 1.5 strokes of the lower cutoff, we're going to look to that player to probably start on the open tee. Now, there can always be situations where it's different depending on what their GIN shows, what team historically played, and what that GIN was developed on, assuming they have it, or what tees the player plays. But generally, the general consensus that we're going to be looking at is 1.5 shots within that division cutoff. We're going to start those players out on the open tee.
And here's the thing, positive communication, because one of the things that makes our tour unique is we have a committee that's actively vetting every player. And the purpose is to create a fair and equitable playing field for everyone. And so if you come in and you're in D2 and you're a 3.8 GIN and you're playing from 6,500 yards all the time, what's going to happen when you come in and play from 61 on the D2 senior yardage? You're going to be a 1.5 and in D1 in a week anyway.
Yep.
And you're going to tick off everyone in D2 when you shoot a score that's out of flight.
Potentially out of flight, but yeah,
Most likely.
right. To that point, it's documenting things that we had learned throughout the year as new players are coming on board. Just basically codifying or putting things in the members manual that we've been seeing and make it clear to folks when they're coming on board to join the tour how we're going to be looking at things.
Correct.
Right. So for current members,
Man, that's
if
a good
you
point.
for current members, if you elect to play the open tee yardage, because this was a question that was in the chat, how do you move up, or how do you request a change? If in order to move up or change that designation, you have to request that change from the APT competition committee, and you can do that by sending an email to handicaps@aptgolf.org.
Which means you really just need to know Matt Fegley, which the other change is Matt Fegley is no longer the handicap czar. He's now the competition czar.
We'll go with okay, fair enough.
There's a little bit of a backstory to that, but that's pretty good. I just
Mhm.
had to point that out.
That's right. Again, just to recap, if you're a current player that's 60 or above, you're playing the open tees, and you want to move up, you have to send a request in and be approved by the APT competition committee.
Yep.
So, yeah, we're gonna have a lot of questions for this Q&A section. So
That's
we'll
right.
we'll keep going.
So the next part of that is current members who turn 60 within the year. So within the season, if you turn 60 after July 8th of 25 for this upcoming season, you'll not be eligible to play the senior tees until after the North American Championship and Senior North American Championship. So if you're turning 60 early enough in the year prior to July 8th, then you get to play some rounds at that 4T, then you'll be able to take that and ride that into the North American Championship. If not, you're not going to get to play the longer tees and then come beat up on everybody at the championships.
It's all about having time to establish your handicap.
That's right.
Yep. And again, it's like everything else. There's always a cutoff date. You know, you're eligible for the U.S. Senior Open if you turn, 50 by whatever date, or, 25 for the Mid-Am, or whatever happens to be. It just happens to be we're using that July as our cutoff. So,
yep.
Yes. Here's the other thing that's going to be key in looking at it. It's more going to affect between Division 1 and Division 2 and Division 3 and Division 4, because that's where the T's break and change. Yep. But we put it in writing so everybody understands it. The APT Competition Committee may require, as part of approving a relegation request, that a player competes at the open tee yardage in their new division.
Yep.
For example, if you're a 3.6 handicap playing the senior tees in D1 and want to go to D2, we're not going to let you move up 300 yards as a 3.6, because once again, you're just going to go right back to D1, and it doesn't help you. It doesn't help us. It doesn't help the players on tour. It's just bad policy, so we're not going to do it. The other factor to this, when it comes to it, is if your GIN is below the division line that you're playing in and you're wanting to relegate back to the senior tee, that's going to be a big consideration, because we're going to go look and see what scores you're shooting from the yardage you want to play. And if your USGA handicap shows that you're not in that division, then we're not going to approve it, because obviously that would be irresponsible. So the goal of the senior tees is to find a spot for players that are 60 and over, which is hard because some guys 60 and over are in the gym every day, and some of us have been hanging out, not exercising. And there's a big difference in how far you hit a golf ball when that happens at 60. So we're
at 45.
Correct. The point is we're trying to find a spot where everybody can fit and be competitive. And competitive isn't an unfair advantage. Competitive is just being able to compete. So that being said, last thing before we move on, here's my advice. If you're sitting out there, I know Al Reynolds put something in. Do I have to go up? No, you don't. So here's my rule. If you're asking my opinion on something when you turn 60, or if you're coming into the tour and you're like, do I play the senior tee? Do I not to? Number one, if you're new to the tour, what yardage do I normally play? If the senior tee is shorter than that, absolutely not. Number two, if you look at your current handicap, if your current handicap places you in the top half of your division, don't play the senior tee. I would not, because you're just going to get promoted. You're just going to play the senior tee in the next division up, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But if you're in the bottom half of the division and distance is an issue, I'd much rather you play the senior tee to a yardage you normally play than go back to a division where you're better than everyone else just playing longer yardages. So there's the cough. Sorry. I'm going to kick a flyer, Fegley.
Flyer?
Real quick.
Kick
yeah,
the
hole
flyer?
eight's going to be a surprise par 3. We had a flood or something. So we're going to play the par 4 as a par 3 and change it up, and then I'll rush the last two together. But everybody keeps asking about the 10 to 20, and I know we covered it Monday, but for everybody that's tuning in tonight, let's talk about the change to the handicap calculation itself.
All right, so if everybody's been paying attention, like we've already seen some comments, if everyone's noticed that their Blue Golf play profile has now changed to where your last 20 scores are being used in your handicap calculation. The handicap calculation is taking the best 10 of those, and that is what your index is generated off of. And then again, the 0.96 factor that's been in play for a while as well. Now, the one thing that we're going to start to see over the next, it's probably going to be a month, hopefully sooner, but we're shooting for a month. There will become a time limit on those scores as well. So your scores will start to fall off after 18 months or after 20 scores. So we're putting in a time limit. So players' indexes will potentially be changing and resetting based on scores falling off. And it will also be in the 10 of 20 timeframe. So, we don't feel, I don't think anybody believes that having scores from 2021 and 2022 are of much value for judging a player's handicap. It could be much lower. It could be much higher. So we're putting a time cap in there to make sure that, there's some form of recency. We looked at all kinds of different ideas. And for this year, at least for the time being, for this year, we're settling on 18 months as the guide for that. So, and then the thought process was keeping the 20 scores is for players that play a lot. It gives a much wider spectrum of what you are as a player to hopefully stabilize your index, and give it a more consistent look, I guess is the best way. And
Less volatility.
Less volatility. There we go. That's the good old volatility number.
Yeah, I mean, the reason we went away from it in the beginning was because it took so long to get the scores to come out. And now that we can get a timetable in there, which is being developed, so hopefully we'll have it completely in effect by the first of the year. But one of the things we're doing until then, at this point, is if you request a relegation or you get into a promotion situation, one of the things we're going to do between now and then before automatically promote someone is we're going to make sure there aren't any scores counting that are outside those last 18 months.
Yep.
So if you see somebody, I know one of the people when it affected this week went lower. We didn't rerun the handicap report. They're playing this weekend. If you see somebody, you're like, why is their tournament index in, 0.2 below the range? It's because they had scores from 2021 that we deleted out that'll update their handicap, and they are in the right range. So we are paying attention to that to keep it fair while that feature gets fully vetted. Cool. Chris said, as long as I can cover hole 9 as fast as Fegley can cover rules on the tee, we'll be in good shape. So I'm going to try. So first one, we're going to cover the last two together. They are priority exemptions and chapter tiers. So one of the things we did this year for the chapter tiers, which is how we distinguish how many invites each chapter gets for their top finishers and player of the year. We took a look at our membership and we added a 4th tier for size, and we changed where the tiers fall. And that's to just equitably get the right amount of people invites to tournaments. So if you're in a really large chapter, you've got more spots. If you're in a small chapter, you have fewer spots, but it's really very close on the same percentages of people that are go. So it's really kind of the top 20% of your tour, is going to be getting the invites. So we'll hit that in a minute because we're going to cover the priority exemptions first. And then, you can certainly read about that if you go to the member manual chapter tiers, and it'll spell out exactly how many spots for each chapter. But signature majors, we have 4 signature majors a year. They have priority exemption invitations. And they're going to be opening on an invite list. And they're probably some of the ones that you have circled on your calendars, one to go to. So the 4 signature majors this year, the Conflict at Kiowa, February 22nd and 23rd. So everybody's going to look at the chapter tier and how they finished in 2024 now. The Cinco de Mayo, May 4th and 5th at Torrey Pines. May 24th through 26th, the APT Players Championship at PGA National Resort, the 54-hole. And July 26th and 27th, the Double Down at French Lick, which is hosting the Corn Ferry Tour finals that started today. So make sure to tune into that and watch those guys shoot 20 under this weekend and just lament about your golf game.
Make you feel really good about yourself.
Right. So
You shoot 68 from 7,800 yards.
yeah,
Yeah,
crazy.
from those tee boxes way back there.
Yeah. The
So
two
the-
boxes we couldn't even find.
So the priority exemptions is very similar to qualifying for state am or state open. They all have lists that you can earn over time. We're going to make these easier to find. That's part of what I'm working on over the next couple of months as we update our website and do some really cool things for 2025. Which, by the way, you can get to it now, aptgolf.org. You don't have to spell amateur anymore. Just aptgolf.org. I'm not going to make the joke I made the last time. It was great, though.
Use
So-
your imagination, folks.
A1, past champions of the North American Championship and Senior North American Championship. You win one of those, Fegley, you're always getting an invite. So congratulations. A2, past winners of National Player of the Year and Senior National Player of the Year. Same deal. A3, top 5 in ties in every division in the 2024 North American Championship and top 3 in ties in every division from the 2024 Senior North American Championship. We'll throw in something for senior net there. It'll be more than that. So I'll get that added. My bad. A4 is winners of last season's local player of the year in every division. So that's senior net, senior divisions, open divisions. A5, winner of a national major in the last 2 years. And then A6 is top 3 in ties in every division in the 2024 national majors. So you finish in top 3 in any of the majors last year, you're getting an invite. A7 is the final 2024 season top 100 in the National Player of the Year rankings and final season top 50 in the Senior National Player of the Year rankings. The final 2024 Local Player of the Year standings, A8, Tier 1 chapters, top 4 in each division, top 2 senior divisions, and senior net top 8. Tier 1 chapters are, Chris, put those in the chat for me, 125 members or less. Tier 2 chapters, top 6. Open division, top 3 seniors. Senior net, top 10. That's 126 to 175. Tier 3 chapters, top 8. In each division, top 4 senior division. Senior net, top 12. That's 176 to 249. And then tier 4 is 250 and up. It's top 12 finishers in each division, top 5 senior division, senior net top 15. You're all getting invites to these things. A9 is any validated player who earns a promotion during the 2024 season in their promoted division. And players with previous relegation do not qualify for this exemption. So if you get promoted from 3 to 2 and then relegate back to 3 and then get promoted again, that doesn't count. It's working your way up the ladder. So not straddling it. And then A10, special invitations determined by the tour, which I can honestly say in 4 years, we've given one of those
Was it just, yeah, it was one, right?
to the founder of Blue Tees Golf. They wanted to come check out our tournament, so we let him come. So that's how it works, priority exemption. So if everybody's checking their local player of the year standings from last year to see when they're going to get the invite. A1 through 6 gets an invitation 2 weeks out. A7 through 10 gets a week out before registration opens, and then registration opens to all members on obviously the opening registration day. The first signature majors will start getting invitations. Should open to members November 1st. So we're talking October 15th. So if you're on that first list for Kiowa, October 15th.
Hey, can
Get ready.
we just buy priority status like Southwest so I can get in the A group every time?
I like it.
Just saying.
I will tell you, with 100 spots at Kiowa, Jody, you and I will not be playing in that event.
Right.
And neither will
exactly.
Phil.
I'm so glad I put this great schedule together
Yeah.
to watch all you guys have a lot of fun.
So,
Yeah.
anyways.
Practice round days.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that makes sense. So we got some time for some question and answer. I know there was a bunch of questions. Chris, if you want to facilitate them. I know I wanted to answer. There was one about his initial handicap.
Yeah, I'll talk to that. Pablo, I know you're playing in the Clemson event on this weekend. Look for an email from myself or Matt Fegley this evening. It's our questionnaire. You can fill that out. We'll pass along the information over to the chapter owner at Clemson, just so that you make sure that you are in the correct division. So, Matt, I'll get with you after this or whatever, and we'll make sure we get the email out to him.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
On his birthday, working overtime on his birthday, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll
What I
answer
do.
I'll answer one of the questions from earlier. It was potato soup with little cheddar cheese and some sour cream and a glass of milk.
It wasn't cream of wheat.
There you go. Oh man. I don't know. General comments like we talked about. We're changing the dials.
I got a good one here.
Nothing major, just making some dials.
Gus, we're working towards that as our chapter owners replace tees. We are manufacturing them in-house now. So we will get there. So, but we're not going to make everyone buy just a new set of tees just because.
Yep.
I'm not that mean.
Ooh, Gus wants to come north. Ivan's got his fall events posted, Phil, and I know he's working on his stuff. He generally, the exception here from talking with Ivan and talking with the guys around here locally is they generally don't like to open their books for the following year until around November.
Yeah.
Some of the courses do talk, and he gets all that stuff set up, but the final will come out sometime around November when the courses are finally like, oh yeah, we're worried about next year, and yeah, we'll put you down. So.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump this to Mr. Nimmo. And so, Jody, I know for the Founders Cup this weekend, I know you're driving Sunday night after the Founders Cup up to East Tennessee to some of your friends up there and everybody playing the Founders Cup from St. Louis and Nashville. You sent out a list of items that we're all bringing this weekend. So if these guys want to help, how can they?
Well, obviously, there's all sorts of organizations that are helping out and taking donations. And there are lists of things out there of what's needed. And anybody that's familiar with that area of Western North Carolina and East Tennessee, the real trick is it's not being able to get them the supplies that people need. It's being able to get them to these folks. And if you've been watching this at all, I know that obviously news coverage probably varies across the country that's covering this, but I have a farm in Greene County. My family has a farm there. My brother is there. So this is kind of personal in respect of what's been going on. And so I've been in touch. But if you're looking at any of this online or paying attention, what's happening right now is private helicopters are finding people. They're flying into these spots where people can't be reached. They're literally stranded on an island in the middle of the mountains, and they can't get out to help. Help can't get to them. There's no electricity. There's no cell coverage. Elon Musk and a bunch of folks are passing out Starlink consoles like they're going out of style. They're being delivered all over the place. So to answer your question, how can you help? If you have the ability to get with an organization or a church in your area that's taking up collections of materials and supplies that can be delivered over there, that's going to be huge. If you don't have that ability or you don't have anybody in your area that's doing anything like that, you can always donate money. Of course, you got to be careful with those things. Now, I would tell you that the organization that I'm going to be supporting and helping is Greene County AidNet. It's AIDNET. You can Google them, find them. And that's Greene County, Tennessee. Obviously, there's going to be every county and every little area in town is going to have their own. The YMCA is also playing a big role in this. The Red Cross is doing it. Samaritan's Purse is another great one that's 100% of the donations go to the people that need it. So, and of course, you can email me, Jody at aptgolf.org, and I'll be happy to work with you, get supplies where they need to get donations where they need to get to. If you have any questions about what's going on over there, just email me and I'll fill you in. Yep, you're muted.
I unmuted myself. Jody, obviously we're sitting here. Do you have any issues we set up a fund?
Well, no, not at all. I mean, it'd be fantastic. I'd love it. I thought about too. I mean, getting Chris in the truck and the trailer and just loading it up and going over there and showing how APT cares about people. Our folks in that area that are struggling. So, that's also a possibility. But we have our Founders Cup this weekend. The St. Louis guys are coming down to play Nashville, and a bunch of them, I've asked them if they can get their hands on materials, because that's part of the thing too, is in our area, everybody's rated Costco and Home Depot, and not only due to the strike, but also because, they're trying to help people. And so my thought was, if you're coming from St. Louis, you're going to maybe not be experiencing some of the same shortages that we are. And everybody's just been great. They're helping out. They're going to come down and load my truck up. And so as soon as we get done on Sunday, either Sunday night or early Monday morning, I'm going to head east and go over and help out and deliver some things and try to, I'll take my chainsaw and gasoline and, work boots and try to help people out as much as I can.
Cool. So yeah, we can set up a fund. The easiest way, just Venmo at APT-Matt Mender, put in there Hurricane Helene. So there is a lot of different things in my Venmo. So don't be a smart aleck. Put Hurricane Helene or something, donation, so that way we can track it and make sure it's good. But we'll make sure, Phil, we'll put a feature. We'll work with Larry. We'll talk to Jeremy Key in Augusta. We'll talk to Mike in East Tennessee and see where we can help our members, and use that to be a blessing. So
is your Venmo back on now?
Yes, it's back on.
Good.
It's back on. I don't know how I'm going to get all the money out of my Venmo from the massive amount of skins and Folds of Honor donations from 2 championships. But yeah, so at APT-Matt Mender, Chris, you want to put that in the deal? Last 4 is 1474. Just please put Hurricane Helene in there, and we will certainly report back where it goes. We'll be transparent with y'all, but it'd be a great way to help out. I do know we've got a few business owners in Asheville that play on our tour. We haven't, we've heard that they're okay, but certainly don't know what their situation is from what they're going to have to face or rebuild. I know Jeremy Key had a lot of damage to his house in Evans, Georgia. Jason Page, who finished runner-up, owns Barnum Trail. Like, there's a bunch of videos and pictures of his golf course that just devastating flooding down there. So I know there's a lot of work to do.
Well, Atlanta area as well. Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, upstate South Carolina, and East Tennessee just really took the brunt of this. So we got a lot of brothers and sisters on tour that are struggling, but more importantly, we've got a big group of people with big hearts that want to help their fellow man. And so I appreciate you guys for doing what you can.
Yeah, no, it humbles me every time. Like, we don't want to ask because, we're 2 weeks after watching people step up in such a huge way to support Folds, which I talked to Sarah today, and she's already looking forward to Orlando. She's like, we're bringing a scholarship recipient funded by the APT to speak next year.
Awesome. Which
is going to be really stinking cool.
That'd be fantastic.
So very excited about that. She's still like, I can't believe you guys. So.
I'll tell you what, as depending upon what we do here with this, Matt, maybe maybe next week I can bring on somebody from that area, one of my colleagues in the legislature that's really been bending over backwards, and just let him kind of tell some stories about what they're dealing with over there. I'm sure he'd love to come on for 15 minutes or so and kind of fill us in on what the story is on the ground.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So there's an interesting one. I like this one. This is fun. So, Jody, you just have to promise not to lie.
Okay.
So, no.
You want me? Well, I mean, my name's on here. It's posted.
Yeah. No.
Where did all of our names go? There are the names.
So first of all, Dennis, welcome to the tour.
Yes.
Dennis Crabtree in the chat, if you're watching on YouTube, new to the tour, doesn't know any of us, which may be a good thing, maybe a bad thing. We don't know yet. But
what tour are you on, Dennis? Put that in the chat, please. Let us know where you're at.
Yeah, what region?
Columbus.
Oh, nice.
I was like,
Excellent.
yeah, nice job, Phil. I was like,
Attaboy, Phil.
Phil's looking.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
So Dennis, I'm Matt Minder. So I founded the APT in St. Louis back in 2018. We started just in St. Louis. Jody pushed me to do it. We used to run a Ryder Cup on a different tour against each other, St. Louis and Nashville, which is what the Founders Cup we're talking about this weekend is. It's why we have a bitter but friendly rivalry between us. It's all based on that relationship. And in 2020, when COVID happened, Jody gave me a call and said, it's time that we expand this nationally. And I went in, I said, okay. So Jody and I are the two founders. We launched November 1st of 2020. We've been growing ever since. So Jody is the scheduler. So when you see the awesome major stuff, it's Jody doing all the work. Let's just leave it at that. He's the legal counsel because he's a lawyer by trade. But most importantly, he's been a great mentor and friend of me. A lot of what he does of value to the APT happens behind the scenes at 7:30 at night when I call him frustrated with the situation because, 4 years ago, I was not prepared to handle what was coming. And if it wasn't for a lot of, belief from Jody but a lot of mentorship, I'm tired of Phil laughing.
Sorry, I'm
I
reading the
think he's
comments.
laughing at the comments.
I'm not comments, man.
So,
It's got nothing to do with your sappy.
I was like, I'm trying to be nice. But anyways, so Jody and I are the two founders. So Jody, I'll let you go, and then I'll let you introduce the other two knuckleheads.
Yeah, I'm Matt's comfort animal.
He's my comfort animal.
Emotional support animal.
Emotional support. Yeah. So Matt said I am a lawyer. So Dennis, Matt played. He played mini tour golf when he was younger. I played college golf when I was younger. So we kind of had a lot of similar experiences in playing tournament golf. And the reason why we were able to get together and launch this is because we were like-minded in a lot of ways about our ideas and what we could do to make things great for the tournament experience for golfers. Yes, he walks around on a leash. Yes. Or walks me around on a leash. Maybe the other way around. Maybe the other way around. Anyway.
We have an interesting relationship because different things set us off. So it's very hard to make us both mad at the same time, which is generally a good thing.
Yeah, it's bad when we're both pissed off. That's not good. Usually one of us is talking the other one off the ledge. And Phil just shakes his head the whole time. But
correct.
What you'll find, Dennis, is most of the people that are involved, like Phil and Matt Fagley that you see on the screen, and a lot of the other chapter owners around the country are all friends of ours. We're all people that we've known each other for a really long time and through either golf or business or different experiences. And we're a big, giant family. We all love and hate each other at the same time. And we have a common goal to build the best damn golf tour anybody's ever seen before. And so that's it in a nutshell. That's who we are.
Yeah. And I mean, so Phil up there, we brought on to our national staff as a partner. Phil used to run Charlotte up until like a week and a half
Oh.
ago.
Dude, that's
Where-
scary. How's it feel?
No different right now.
Okay.
No different.
But gave up his Charlotte role to take a even bigger role in the national side and be able to focus more of his time with us as we continue to grow. And Fegley is the all around, we call him the competition czar. But, and here's the thing that I love about it though. So Fegley's passion is creating a fair playing environment. Like me personally, like you talk about my passions, I want to be looking at what he does 0% of my time. Like that's not me. But that being said, like I've never looked up a dude's gen that I'm playing against in my life. Never once. You know what I mean? I just show up and play and whatever. But at the same time, like the culture we're trying to create, which is having members put in the chat 3 times that how do we help other APT members affected by the hurricane? Like that's the culture we want to create. It's not just a golf tournament. It's not just showing up and doing this. Like we all have a common goal. And when we say create the best damn golf tour that's ever been created, it goes beyond golf, and it's a culture of building a family. And it's, I love the fact I mentioned at the beginning when I went through all the emails from being down for being sick for 4 days, it's blown up with people. Hey, I played with this guy. He's in upstate. Have you heard from him? Is he okay? How can I contact him? Like just full of emails of people who legitimately care. And that comes to culture. And a huge part of it that Fegley brings to the table is that culture breaks when Bush League stuff happens. Like, for example, people that try to cheat on their handicaps. Like that kills culture faster than anything, which is why we focus on it so much. So I'll let you talk. And that's Fegley's passion. And he works his butt off. And the results speak for themselves.
That's
Thanks.
one of Fegley's passions.
Yeah, one. They're very
I was
limited.
trying to talk about you in a positive light.
Golf, wagering, and
Wine.
handicaps.
Wine. It's a still red wine.
Still red wine. Or
Red-
unique non-alcoholic sodas from Kentucky.
Red eye flights.
Red eye flights. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shaving. Definitely. Shaving is now on the agenda items of things I enjoy to do.
So that's the other thing to answer the question. Minder is in Illinois. I'm in Tennessee. Fegley's in North Carolina, sometimes California, or any point in between. Phil's in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, we're kind of all over. And then if you look on our website and see all the different chapters, behind the scenes, those folks are all involved in all of this as well. So, again, it is a family-run organization. Everybody's kind of has a say and input in what's going on. And you talk to your chapter owner, they talk to us, and next thing you know, you may find out the idea that you presented is being implemented. So
There's a rule named after you, but it won't be in public. It'll just be in private.
yeah, but we will make fun of you whenever we see you.
Of course. I mean, I'm trying to think. There's at least 3 or 4 player rules now that we're not going to make known, but the players who suggested them know who they are.
Yeah.
Is the Fegley rule coming into play?
It might. I think that could be a new one.
So, but anyways, Dennis, and our main office is based in Illinois. So you'll meet Chris if you come to any of our majors. Chris, who's hiding, he's still in the office. I don't know why he's in the office, but running the show tonight. He when Alderucci says he pretty much runs the tour. That's pretty accurate, especially at the majors. He just got done killing it at the North American Championship. We just brought in Jersey, who handles all of our merchandising and doing a lot of our operation stuff. She's doing a great job. My wife, Allie, helps. She's now the controller, does all the financial and accounting stuff. And I'm sure you'll meet Baby Collins at some point too, because my wife randomly walks around and brings her on camera. So
The
Everybody
newest
that
member of the
watches-
APT.
yeah, she's 10 and a half weeks old. So
Hey, we got an important question that came through.
what's that?
Is there an email for suggestions? Absolutely.
100%. The easiest way would be support@aptgolf.org. So that comes to the biggest amount of us, and we'll get wired to the best person to answer the question. We do see all those. We're not just hiding. Most of them get forwarded to us anyway, but just for routing purposes, for quickness of response, support is support@aptgolf.org.
I wanted to give him somebody else's email.
Which one?
I won't say it on there.
Oh goodness. There's a couple good ones. I will
That
tell
guy-
you
that
there's
guy- Dennis is like, well, I didn't want a life story. I just wanted like the job title.
I just wanted your names and like who you are.
I will tell you my Venmo has blown up.
Oh,
Man, you guys are the best.
yep.
Yeah, there's almost $1,500 in Venmo right now for supplies.
Wow.
That's awesome, guys.
Craziness.
So anyways, any last questions for tonight? This has been a good one. I appreciate you guys staying on late with us.
It's not even halftime of the game.
It's on Amazon Prime though.
That's fair.
It's like the
Damn.
stepchild. Oh gosh, there's a good story for you, Dennis, since you're new. So Rich, who by the way is our chapter owner in Phoenix and Chicago. Don't ask me how that works, but it does. So Allie and I needed somebody to marry us, and about if you need to know about our culture as a team, I think the easiest way to describe it is 65% of our wedding guests for our destination wedding were chapter owners from APT. We had a blast because these are the people we do life with. But anyways, Rich got ordained to marry us, which was awesome. And so he's getting ready to basically be, if anybody objects to these two getting married, please send your objection to support@aptgolf.org. So there were no emails, by the way, Rich. That was the answer. Nobody objected.
No objections.
It's a good thing we didn't talk about T assignments or flighting or promotions because I might not be married.
Phew.
That could have gotten way out of hand for sure.
Here's a good question. Required hotel stay at PGA National? No, sir. And just so you know, new this year in the TIP page, when you go to lodging information, because when we get great hotel deals, we'll post them. The very top of it will say, is there a lodging requirement to register for this event? And it says big and bold yes or big and bold no. So you guys will know. So if you want to know if there's a room requirement, just go to lodging information. It'll tell you. Lodging requirements this year are Kiowa, Macklemore,
What else?
French Lick.
I think
Oh,
that's
okay.
it.
That's it.
I tried really hard to eliminate that as much as possible.
Because we all know how, I don't know, how people love to figure out how to fit 8 people in a 4-bedroom Airbnb.
Right.
There's standard yardage for the senior up tees. Yes, there is. And you can go read about it in the member manual under tee assignments. Up, we keep going.
Monday after Myrtle Beach, yes, he's working on it.
Yes, he's working on it. It's going to be awesome. So, cool. Well, if there's no other questions, Jody, final thoughts?
I've got lots of thoughts. Mostly just thanks. I mean, you talked about the money coming in Venmo. I did not want to ask the tour to get involved in this, but I'm greatly appreciative and happy to represent the APT whenever I go over there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And yes, the member manual is live on the website. We've covered the changes. Take a look. When you find a spelling error, send it to support.
Yes. Assuming I'm not in the hospital, I will be there.
And Matt from YouTube, yes, the courses at St. George.
Matt's
are
one of my
as
guys in
nice as
St.
they
Louis.
look.
Dude,
They are.
You say
Come to-
they are nice, as every bit as nice as they look.
I will show you pictures on my phone next time I see you. The Black Desert course, like you'll go to Ledges for round 1 of the Red Rock Championship and be like, okay, this is supposed to be the crappy course before Black Desert. And you'll get out there and be like, ooh, this is really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like, there's no way Black Desert's going to be better than it. And then you're just like, you get to Black Desert, that's what, 2 miles from there?
Yeah.
But on a different angle to see this. Yeah, dude.
And there are a couple more in the
There's
area too, that if you have a couple extra days to stay out there and play, like you got to go play Sand Hollow and,
Yep.
and you know, you can throw a rock and hit a really, really awesome looking and fun golf course to play out there.
I'll be honest, Jody, and we've talked about this for years, but I'm going to say it on here. When we go west to host the North American Championship, St. George, Utah is on my short list of places to do it at.
Definitely has the capacity from a golf course standpoint and
Oh.
housing standpoint to make it happen. There's no question. We could do it.
'Cause you can go
Hopefully
to
everyone
Mesquite.
from the state of Utah didn't see that.
He just said it's on his list. That's like
Oh.
being in his top 10. There's
It's
like
okay. It's
40
like
courses in
so.
his top 10.
Those of you that don't get the joke, Matt Minder has a top 10 golf course that is 25 courses long
At
and
least.
growing.
and growing. But it's okay.
After next weekend when he plays cut along, it'll be 26 courses long.
And those of you that do go to, that do the Utah adventure, the drive from Vegas, if you do decide to fly into Vegas, the drive from Vegas to St. George is wonderful. Remember to have a full tank of gas. There's a good story in the background.
Yeah. And do it during daylight. It's
Oh, hold
much
on.
prettier. It's much prettier in day than it is at night.
And have gas before you leave, Fegley.
Always
right.
keep the tank full.
You fly to Vegas, it's an hour and a half drive. It's not a bad drive.
It's one of, you will go through,
But you don't
gorge.
stop till you get to Mesquite.
Yep. You will go through
So-
a gorge that reminds you out of the movie Cars, man. It's one of the coolest drives out there.
Gus, national schedule. It's out on Facebook. You can go through our posts. It's out. When I am upright for more than 2 hours a day, it's next on my list of things to build out. So coming soon. Stay tuned. I apologize, but there we go. It'll be up soon. And the August 9th and 10th TBA took a couple big steps the last couple days on getting final where we can announce it. And you just need to pencil that one in to go to. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
That will be a fun week. Fun weekend.
It's true. My top 10 is stabilizing over time. I hadn't traveled the country and played golf like you had when we started this thing. And so now that I've been around and played at all these places, I'm like, okay, like the top 10's coming around. But it's hard because
It
it's
is.
a lot of pretty good places. Why don't you talk just for a second, Jody, before we sign off?
Well,
You were talking the other day, the local tournaments this fall that you want to go play.
Oh yeah, I mean, we talk about the majors because, of course, we're responsible for those. But our local chapters are putting together an incredible list of courses and events for the fall. Just October, November alone. You and I were having that conversation. I was like, man, I'm having a hard time choosing which direction I'm going to go in. For instance, we're talking about Cut Along, which is in Northern Virginia. Had an opportunity to play it a couple years ago, and what a really fun, fantastic golf course. And for us to be able to get an event there is really exceptional. So kudos to the Virginia chapter for getting that done. But Denver's putting some great courses on their fall schedule. Arizona's got some that are
I mean,
coming online.
upstate's at Clemson.
Yeah,
Yep.
this weekend,
That
right?
place
The,
is-
the Walker
yeah.
course at Clemson.
Denver's at Fossil Trace. Have you seen that place?
I've actually played it before, and it's incredible. And look, this time of year, in some of these swing seasons, our northern chapters and our mountain chapters, man, this is the time to be playing some golf. You don't need to put the clubs up just yet.
I mean, Portland's at Pumpkin Ridge.
Yeah.
I mean, who won the U.S. Amateur
the
there?
one that isn't that where Spieth won his U.S. Amateur?
I believe so.
Yeah, and maybe Tiger too. I
Tiger.
have to go back.
No,
Maybe
I think that was a Tiger. Yeah. I think there was a Tiger one there too.
No, Spieth won at Chambers Bay, didn't he?
No, that's the U.S. Open.
That was
But I
US
think
Open.
he may have played his U.S. Amateur there too.
But I mean,
Anyway,
Casey's got NCR.
Yeah. The
October.
North Course, which is still good,
it's still very good.
still really good.
If the North Course at NCR wasn't wedged between the South Course and Moraine, it would be
It
the
would
best
be one of
course
the best.
in a 50-mile radius.
If it was in Nashville, it might be the best course in Nashville.
It's getting choked up.
You're killing me.
Yep.
I mean, New York's at the Rock. That's good.
Yep.
These are all just
Phil-
local events, guys.
Phil, you got your favorite Stonebridge in what, November?
End of this month, end of October.
End of
Just got-
October.
Yep. Fun course.
Yep.
Yeah, Augusta was going to play at the Harbor Club at Lake Oconee. They ended up having to postpone that because of the hurricane damage. But they'll get that back on the schedule too. Anytime you get a chance to go to Lake Oconee, those are some fantastic golf courses up there too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
yeah, man, it's things just keep getting better and better every year. The longer we're established, the more doors that open up, and the more emails and phone calls get returned to our chapter owners when they make or trying to make their schedule. So it was hard. Admittedly, it was difficult the first couple of years when people didn't know who we were, never heard of us before. But we've worked hard to develop a great relationship and reputation in the golf community, which is a small place, I'm told.
It
I've
is.
been told that before too.
Another inside joke.
Mhm.
But now that we've been doing this for as long as we've and we've gotten as big as we've gotten, then that has opened some doors for us. I mean, Southern California, he's got some great golf courses coming online this year too. I mean, it's just everywhere you look, the chapters are stepping up, the schedules are getting bigger and better, and I'm excited. Can't wait.
The chapters are getting bigger and better. And
Yes,
more.
they are.
So
Yes, they
October is going to be a fun month, Jody. So as we sign off, definitely tune in next couple of Thursdays. We'll keep going through some member manual stuff. A lot of exciting things to talk about.
Oh,
Go
Yep.
Fegley.
I have
Are
the
you making-
joke.
Are you making
That
an
was
announcement,
the
Fegley?
classic situation. What occurred tonight on the live was the classic situation where you play 18 with your buddies and go,
E9.
another 9?
Need emergency 9.
That's right. E9, baby.
So
Anyhow.
Well, we love y'all.
Let's just thank God it wasn't an 11-for-4 playoff.
That was fun.
so much fun. I wouldn't trade that for the world. I think that's the coolest thing.
Yep.
Oh, it's so much fun to watch those guys, and the ones that play in it in our North American Championship in the second round. The ones that have played in it, they love it. They can't stop talking about it.
Right. I was talking with the owner of a different tour and just keeping communications. He goes, I don't know why you do that. And I'm just like,
That's awesome.
I don't know why you don't.
I'm like, do I tell him why, or do I just let him continue to think I'm an idiot? So
We keep
Until-
trying. We'll get good at this eventually.
Until we have a giant alternate shot where 100 golf carts follow everybody around, it's the closest thing we got to the member guest feeling of
So much
How
fun.
many people are watching me hit? What is
Right.
going on?
Where did all these people come from?
Exactly.
So good.
Oh.
But anyways, stay tuned. We are going to party like it's 2020 at the end of October. I mean, it's going to be a chapter a day for a while, all leading up to a big announcement November 1st, which is going to be fun. Live from Dancing Rabbit. Me and Jody sitting at a little table. We're going old school. We'll share one computer, make the audio crappy, do the whole thing. Whatever we got to
fantastic.
do. It's going to be awesome. You want me to pull out those old gaudy, ugly colored buck shirts we had where the logo was like this big?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I don't think so. I don't think we're going to do that, but it would be awesome.
Chris says he'll bring out the button up. I think I still have a Titleist Win shirt somewhere with the logo on it
Dude,
from that.
Chris,
first
I
year.
wish I had that handy because I would show it. That was the best, man. I don't even know if you knew about that, Jody. Like, Phil, you'll love this. So when we broke away and we were going to do this on our own the first year in St. Louis, so I was like, we need to be classy because we're going to be the classiest tour. So we do a golf show, and Chris did not talk me out of this idea. So he has to take at least like 5% responsibility. But it was me and Borgmeyer and Chris. We got matching like buttoned up dress shirts and put the logo on it and showed up at the Golf Expo to sell memberships.
Button ups and flat bills.
You're not wrong. Borgmeyer's wearing a flat bill with his button up.
Oh,
I've got pictures. They'll need to come out at some point. Somehow we didn't fail. So
Good.
just by the grace of God, because that was a terrible mock up to do a Golf Expo where everybody came in wanting free golf balls.
So good.
Miss the audience there.
Flat bill.
Hey, Lingenfelter, I may play like crap, but we're gonna have a good time regardless.
So here, I think this is a good one. This is for Fegley and Phil. Founders Cup predictions. St. Louis against Nashville. What's the betting line this weekend, boys?
Fegley is the handicapper at this point.
So what's the last? What are the last three results?
There's only been 2 results.
Okay.
St. Louis won in Tunica.
Okay.
We're kind of like the Europeans in the Ryder Cup in how it goes. And then we won last year in St. Louis.
What golf course in Nashville is this being played on?
Greystone.
Nashville. Sorry. Jody pulls the Ian Poulter and goes 4-0.
I'm a little
has some upset over somebody.
I might play up in Division 1 just for fun.
Dude, on that golf course, you are good.
Horses for courses, they say.
Exactly.
we'll see.
Exactly.
We'll see how it goes.
I mean, Smolera's coming off of injury. Like, I don't know, man. You gotta.
the big question, is it online? Do you have it in Blue Golf set up so that people can watch it and see the results?
And since I'm here and can't travel, how much do you think that Guthrie and Joe are going to call me like, hey, Matt, will you set up this Ryder Cup for me?
Hey, new idea for Blue Golf. Can we get a chat link to our leaderboards? So anywhere around the country, you can talk trash to your friends when you see that they're shooting 88 in Phoenix, and when they look at the leaderboard, they see it scrolling. That would be fun.
That'd be awesome.
I think
Wait, that ain't going to be a pace of play helper.
We can definitely get something close, right? You can post the link in the members group, and then we'll just start with the comments.
Joe says he told me how bad he was playing before the finals and went out and shot 75. Look,
Yeah.
just don't throw me in the briar patch, okay? Please don't throw me in the briar patch.
Oh,
So, and we'll work on getting a link online. I've just got a couple text messages.
Yes,
For people
Chris,
that don't have Venmo, pay attention to Facebook. We'll get a link up tomorrow. If people want to make a donation via credit card or something like that, we will have that. We'll get it up on our website and also on Facebook tomorrow and on our public page and the members group. So if you do want to do that, we absolutely can make that happen.
I like APT Nashville signing in, coming off the top rope.
Hey, Phil, I said if you make a donation, though, it might send you a confirmation that you have a target score, but just ignore that.
Hey, Chris, pull Rich's comment and put it on the display for everybody.
Rich, we were playing an emergency 9.
APT After Dark.
Turned into an emergency 18. Whew. We're in the doghouse tonight.
Oh, boy.
Happens.
Yep. Gotta
Well,
run to
anyways,
the grocery store and pick up some flowers for the missus.
At least we're not having to pay for airtime.
Exactly.
it's true. So, anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. We will be seeing you guys next week on Thursday, and we'll have more fun stuff to talk about. Play some great golf this fall. 2025 membership is open. The growth numbers are massive.
It's great.
It's actually our biggest growth year over year right now than we've ever been
Yeah.
in any of the 5 years. So
Year 5 is going to be it, but guys,
and we haven't even announced all the new chapters yet, which are growing by the day.
don't get caught watching the paint dry.
There you go. Anyways, see you guys next week.
Final.